Yo, we at the end. Time to speak the truth. Tunnel boy twisted. Better watch your own. You think you tough, but man, you just a clown. Sending pics to the kids, better take a bow. Behind the screens, you hide like a rat. Rapping that vicious, cyberbully chat. John O'Keefe's fam star. Feel the weight of the bricks, weakest intimidation. Yeah, we ain't forget. You stalking and harassing, plotting with your crew, framing innocent lives. What's wrong with you? It's willful blindness when you can't see the game. Defend the monster, ain't no one left to blame. When the truth hits, why you can't run from the pain? Little boy, twist the man with dominance. Creeping through the feeds like a beef in the night. Hit them in the inbox, thinking it's alright. Cyber harassment, got your soul in a chokehold. Sick of the lies, truth stole I fold. You trying to get the vibe, drag the name through the mud, but we're ones unite. Yeah, we're rising like flood. Don't care about your followers, we shatter that code. 98% of women watch our truth explode. This ain't loyalty, man. It's a crime in plain sight. You think you're in the right, but you ain't got the light through. Yeah. Yo. Hey, yo, it's time to get real. The streets are buzzing. Free Karen Reed, watch the fire, no bluffing. Critics out, yeah, they loud, but we ain't backing down. Let's shed light on those wearing the crown. Step into the scene, enter Aiden Kearney, aka Turtle Boy, thoughts kinda dirty. Rolling deep with misfits, you know, like Will the Glera. Claims he's tough, but that ain't a real player. Beating on his kid, man, that's a red alert. No cap, no lie, dude, you need to revert.
Let's talk about the truth, let's keep it real. Clara's got a history that's hard to conceal. Turtle Boy trolls with that fake account vibe. This is a community, we gotta unite. This is a community, we gotta unite.
Then there's Jimmy, aka Aunt Deb on the scene, instigating trouble, thinking he's a mean machine, dividing us up. Man, it's never gonna win. Can't keep the peace when you're all about sin. Jessica Machado throwing threats like confetti, kicking folks out. Yo, you ain't ready.
Let's talk about the truth, let's keep it real. Clara's got a history that's hard to conceal.
Oh, yeah.
Boy trolls with that fake account vibe. This is a community, we gotta unite. This is a community, we gotta unite.
Turtle Boy, tell me what's the deal? Slanging fake news like it's part of the meal. Mental, physical threats, that ain't no game. Abusing women, man, that's a real shame. Real shame, real shame, real shame. Watch as the drama unfolds. It's not just gossip, it's harmful behavior that you can't just toss it. Burner accounts, a coward with a keyboard, but the real talk, that's where you ignored. Stand up, man, quit acting like a child. Time to heal, not divide, make the difference worthwhile. Now let's get real, it's time to change the narrative. Stand together, bring the positive imperative. Let's be a voice that speaks for the weak. United we rise, broken cultures can't speak. Yeah.
Let's talk about the truth, let's keep it real. Clara's got a history that's hard to conceal. Turtle Boy trolls with that fake account vibe. This is a community, we gotta unite. This is a community, we gotta unite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on?
It ain't all good in the neighborhood.
Everybody, how we doing?
Let's break this down. Let's talk about the shadows.
Oh no. What a lie is lies free.
Yeah.
The apology.
Now let's get real. Listen close to what I gotta say. Free Karen Reed movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo, Eric Rube. Let's dive into this mess. Your selection's just a popularity contest. Yeah. You don't even watch the games, that's a shame. Only hugging up the coaches, playing a little game. Playing Karen with your kids, that's a parent-in-law. Running to the 80, throwing if it don't fit your narrative, bro. No more jungle fever, I ain't buying what you sell. You said you stand for stand, but can't you tell? You're all up on Washington, Dunbar, making claims. Begging the townies for a seat named in your honor, like you're insane. But you're just a joke, man, I'm calling it live. How you claim to represent when you barely survive? Barely survive.
You're working for a corporation, thinking you're all that, but worry about, can we keep it real? What's up with that? A blogger with no degree is twice the journalist you'll ever be. How many kids you exploiting just for views? We'll see. Just for views, we'll see. Yeah.
What is it? What is going on? How we doing today? Welcome. Was today the auction for the Karen Reed SUV? Was that today? I think at 11 o'clock it was today, but yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. What a busy day I've had today. I had to go down to the courthouse today, file a paper for my lawsuit. You know what I mean? If you've been blogging and shit, I mean, 8 years I've been at this. If you've been blogging as long as I have, you're gonna get hit with a couple lawsuits, and you gotta know how to handle them. Let me see. Yeah, you gotta know how to handle them. I went in today and I actually filed. I filed this one. See, like I said, you've been doing this as long as I have. Before we get into the Rule 30 motion, which I think I know enough about the Rule 30 motion to explain it. Let me see. Okay, so I was getting a message. The anti-slap accountability. You know, that's basically what I'm going for in this lawsuit. But everybody, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Mike. I'm the host of this ship. Can we keep it real podcast? And no, I don't think I'm driving a boat. But it isn't about gossip. No drama today. Maybe it will. Talk about the law. The truth, the values. That we expect from some of these grown adults in these communities. You know. But today I filed my official answer in the Washington County Superior Court case, in response to Braga versus me, Michael Rebello, on Can We Keep It Real podcast, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Not to attack, never to attack, right? Maybe to educate, not to inflame, but to explain exactly why I'm standing firm with this particular lawsuit here. And I think a lot of bloggers, you might learn something. See, I look dumb. I play dumb. I mean, I think I'm a little educated. Especially when it comes to the law. That's just something that I enjoy. But I'm not intimidated, you know. And we'll talk a little bit about the anti-slap statute that exists for moments like this, basically for bloggers, because we now know that the court has ruled that a blogger, even the smallest blogger, is a journalist. So the anti-slap laws, the anti-slap. Hello, how are you? Appreciate you being here. But when we talk about the anti-slap statute, which exists just for moments like this, from what I was researching. Shout out Miss G and X. So for bloggers like myself that are kind of, you call people out, you expose people, only with the right truth. So what I filed today matters, and why it matters can probably end up helping a lot of people in the Free Karen Reed movement, because y'all might be hit with some lawsuits coming up. Absolutely. But Rhode Island General Law 933.1, it's an anti-slap statute. It protects people who speak on matters of public concern. It protects the commentary. It protects criticism. It protects journalism, and including y'all raunchy bloggers out there. Because even the worst ones, like the Glare, like Turtle Boy, like that weird ass Uncle Ass Debbie, you know what I mean? Nurse Kim, it protects JFK. It even protects James Jackson when he lies on another blogger, but it don't protect him from a lawsuit. See, bloggers are journalists, right? With the same First Amendment protection as the mainstream media. You should get the same protection as, your biggest media personality out there, Stephen A. Smith, right? And why that matters is because platforms like mine, this podcast has always been about transparency. It's always been about accountability, public conversation. It's not about harassment. It's not about, defaming anybody. It's not about putting people down. It's not about malice. So when someone files a complaint because they don't like being talked about publicly, the anti-slap statute will step in. Will Henry, aka the Glare, is getting served with papers with regards to what he said about Jimmy's ex-girlfriend and what he said about Cameron Reed, saw it in a JFK chat, Angel Slayer troll. Hey, there you go, and that's what the lawsuits are for. Now, when that gets filed, the problem is they're going to have to go to where he lives. They're going to have to go file that, I think, in Tennessee. And the other thing is you have 20 days. Like, he'll have 20 days to answer that. Kind of like what I'm going through, and I just filed mine today. There's motions to dismiss, and I went pro se, but I got a lawyer, but there's no sense paying a lawyer now. No, that does not include the Omni Hotel scandal. But really, who you suing for that? The hotel might be able to sue Will, for really putting them out there. But what are you getting from somebody like him? And that's another thing I think some people don't realize. You sue people that have nothing. It might just cost you money. No, I am absolutely pissed. I'm upset at James Jackson. Absolutely. JFK, not so much. I respect him. You know what I mean? He has a lot of good points. We'll talk about that later. But when someone files a complaint because they don't like being talked about publicly, Turtle Boy's good for that. I'll go to the police in a minute. But when this anti-slap statute steps in and it says you cannot use the courts to silence speech, that's why I filed my answer today. Not out of anger. I could have let it go, like whatever, but I did it out of principle. And another thing, I don't want to let allegedly these monsters, my opinion, to keep getting away with these things. And that's why I take a stance. And JFK asked me the other day, what is your end game? Is it worth losing your channel to go after Turtle Boy? I ain't going after Turtle Boy. I'm speaking up for the people that don't speak for themselves. I don't care what happens to Turtle Boy. It is what it is. I speak up for the women that are getting beat, that are afraid to come out of that corner, for the kids that are being abused mentally, physically, for the elderly that are being abused. I speak for them people. And if I got to lose a couple of YouTube channels, like, am I supposed to care? Is this for, oh my God, I'm losing my channel? I mean, I would rather stand up and protect the innocent and protect people that can't protect themselves. Journal, I like that one. Good. That's what Silly Willy Henry gets for being a big, goofy, hairy parrot for the blogger journalist my ass. That is a fact. So when someone so when it comes to clearing, why would you lose your channel? Well, after, because when people, people can complain to YouTube about your channel, and I lost several channels in the past, for harassment, just um copyright strikes. You can lose your channel that way. Like now, say if people didn't like what Will Henry was saying, or someone did, or any blogger, and you went on there and they were talking about a sensitive subject, you could go on there and say, I feel, that the message that they're giving is harassment. And you could report that channel. And a channel can only get 3 reports. I asked the troll what Will Henry said about Karen that would get him served. And I got no answer. But the angel troll said she can guarantee it on police. It all depends what he said, is it their opinion? And that's why, like, what I have in this paperwork, um, we'll talk. I mean, every state is different, but they clarify that. But what the bloggers and Will Henry has said ain't no way near anything I've ever heard you say. But what the bloggers and Will Henry has said, oh, okay. I thought you were saying that like I'm way worse. I was like, whoa. No, absolutely not, And I don't want to, and I don't like to take it. I don't like to take it there. I don't think you have to take it there. I think if you put it out there crystal clear and you try to educate them. I mean, the disagreement that me and JFK had, he felt I was butthurt, you know what I mean? And I felt you didn't even take the time to listen to what I had to say. Because in there, I also said much, much respect. We can disagree and still be respectful, and then, but anyway, so when you get sued, unless you want to lose by default, you want to have a good name. And my podcast's been around for 8 years. I've been on AM, FM radio. I did a lot over the last few years, and I always took the time. Will Henry is definitely hiding from YouTube. Of course he is. They all should be. I really don't know what's going on with the Ray from Dallas situation, you know, um, and his cousin. And how do you produce receipts at that age, But I just think that whole section over there, we'll call it the dirty section of the FKR, right? You got Turtle, you got Willie Boy, you got Nurse Kim, um, you got Hatchet Face, Jessica Machado, um, you got Uncle Friggin' Weirdo. Alex is gonna be on Turtle Boy on Saturday, and that's dangerous because, like, tell him to go up there, be ready, be prepped, because Aiden's gonna do everything he can to discredit him. You know what I mean? He gotta be up there. He gotta be calm with Aiden. You could defeat Aiden very easy by not playing into Aiden's game. I see it. Listen, it's not what's coming out of people's mouth that you have to listen to. What's coming out of their body? What's their language like? there's tell signs. There's just things that people do, and you don't even realize you're doing it when you're about to lie. Some people's pupil dilate, some people they twitch. Some people will put their fingers through their hair. So not that Alex has any hair, but Turtle Boy, so he's very, very tricky. He's very conniving, But Alex, you know what? The truth don't need defenders. Like I've always said, the truth don't need defenders. Turtle riders need defending. Turtles need defending. But the truth, if that's true, what the dude Alex is saying, the truth don't need defending. But I will say, why did Ray run so fast? So with this case here, I'm definitely eager to clear my name. I'm eager to clear my platform's name, because the truth doesn't need to hide. The truth doesn't need to run. I'm watching the sunset across the street. You can see a whole bunch of cows in the snowfield. It's beautiful living. Disagree and still be respectful. True, I support JFK. I can never respect him defending Turtle Boy or him attempting to talk other folks out of their negative opinions of Turtle Boy because that rat bastard has. I agree with you, and that's why I was kind of like I was actually hurt. To tell you the truth, I felt a little like I was a little effed up over that. I was like, wow, because I felt like I did feel like he was kicking my back in. Um, and I was like, why is he defending Turtle Boy? And that's why I named the title of that blog, is JFK defending Turtle Boy? Because he did take a stance with me and Babs. And respect to Babs, she's so polite. She would never say it publicly, but I know she feels the same way. I mean, he did come to Boston. There had a lot of shit going around in Boston. You know what I mean? And who knows what he did in Boston, but you never know. Maybe he is hiding. But when someone drags your name online through the mud while their own house is made of glass, you have every right to defend yourself. It isn't personal. It's legal. It's constitutional. It's about the right to speak on public issues without being punished. So that's why you should always defend yourself when it comes to legal matters. Even if you don't have a lawyer at the time. I mean, a lot of this stuff for me, it didn't take a lawyer. Like everything you see, and I'll run through it. I did not. I don't have a lawyer. I reached out to Nan and I asked her if she could skim through it. But this basically says the defendant's here to answer the complaint. He's appearing pro se. The complaint as follows. Yeah, I did. It was too much on him. The defendant admits only that he's a resident of RI. The defendant denies he made any false statements of facts concerning the plaintiff. The defendant denies that plaintiff suffered any damages. The defendant states that the statements at issue were made in good faith. Defendant denies any image or materials referred were fabricated, altered, or generated by artificial intelligence. I posted a picture. Everything I got from social media on this case. It's a alleged teacher. It is a teacher, allegedly, that, has several long restraining orders against his biological child. And after researching the case, just because the police never arrested someone allegedly doesn't mean someone's an alleged monster. There's monsters everywhere. So basically, this is what we put together. My defense is failure to state a claim. The complaint fails to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. My second defense is the truth, substantial truth, which is Truth or substantial truth is an absolute defense to defamation. My opinions protected. Statements of opinions, beliefs, or commentary based on disclosed, publicly available facts are protected by the First Amendment. The fair report privilege, statements concerning judicial proceedings, public record, them are all privileged and are not actionable. You can't take action on privileged public records. And the anti-slap, which is the most important, the claim from my exercise of free speech on matters of public concern. And that's what Turtle Boy is going to be probably using, and so on, and there's no damages to this. Plaintiff didn't suffer any economic, he's saying I hurt his reputation by telling the school he was a PDF file, allegedly. We're going to be saying allegedly a lot, but that ain't really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Eddie O'Brien a little bit, while JFK and them guys, can, they'll talk about the family and everything, I want to pay attention what's going on inside the courtroom and why Eddie O'Brien in 30 years hasn't filed a Rule 30 motion, but could that motion change everything? Will the court grant Eddie a new motion? God bless him. I mean that. God bless him, man. I wish him nothing but the best. You know what I mean? I tried to extend a friendship over there. I tried to say, listen, maybe we could work together but separate, join forces, try to push this stuff, try to do things, do the right thing. I sent emails, but it's all good. Yeah, so I mean, I wish Eddie the best of luck. How confident am I that this is gonna work out for Eddie? I mean, you never know with the courts. That's the problem. The courts are tricky, and once they have a conviction, it's very hard to get things overturned. But Eddie, I think inside his Rule 30 motion, I think we're gonna get into what I think is inside it. Why I think he has a chance for the Rule 30 motion. A very a small chance because the state don't want to say that they made a damn mistake. And listen, if you're over on Twitter, man, please go to youtube.com. Can we keep it real? One word. I really appreciate it. Absolutely dedicated to the strong ladies and the men, raising men in a world full of chaos. Very, very important. We got to raise strong men. My Cash App is at the top right hand of the screen if you want to, help donate and stuff. But, yeah, so for 30 damn years, right? 3 decades. How long has it been since the Commonwealth of Massachusetts convicted Eddie? It's a long ass time. And at the time, Eddie was one of the youngest defendants in the state to be tried as an adult for friggin' murder. Imagine that, the youngest in the state. To be tried for murder. And now, after all this time, after a lifetime to some people, I mean, this case, here we go, is being brought up again. I heard about it only because of, the JFK over there. But a Rule 30 motion now, from what I heard earlier, I think Jay Brill said that it's already typed up. So Massachusetts, it's a form for challenging a conviction, based on whether you have new evidence. I think if they made a mistake, if they violated your constitutional rights, a bad attorney. So right now, it's being prepared. But I want to ask the question that's been going around for years. I mean, now it's being debated in living rooms everywhere, right? There's 30 something, episodes based on Eddie O'Brien. Does Eddie O'Brien even have a chance at a Rule 30 motion? And I know we all want to say, yes, of course he does. But the legal YouTubers, I would love if some of these legal YouTubers got involved and looked at this case. But does he have an actual chance of getting a new trial? And I think if he did get a new trial and they gave him a fair trial, he would. I think he has a good chance. I mean, realistically, a lot of people say, oh my God, 1996. They talk about it like it's 19. I mean, technology. We had technology in 1996, not like we have now. I remember the police departments were just getting the fingerprinting machine. I heard about it from there as well. Back in 96 when Eddie was first going in, I know before that, because I know we used to get grabbed up, say, upstate New York, Massachusetts, somewhere like outside of your home state, and they take your fingerprints, and you give a fake name, but you're kind of like, damn, I only got like 3-4 days to get out of here before them damn fingerprints come back. Because they would take 3 copies of fingerprints. You know what I mean? The local police would take a copy, the Attorney General's office would get the second copy, and the FBI gets the third copy. See, that's the third copy is the problem, because once that gets to the FBI and the FBI run it through their system, they respond back to the local police. They're like, yo, hold that guy. But it's 3 days later. Hopefully you have bail and you got out of there, and they'll never find you again, because of the fake name with the prints. But now with the new machine, right away, they got you. They run your prints and it's all over with. So what I researched about the O'Brien case, that it wasn't just a trial, it was an earthquake. It was a political nightmare. And by listening to what Kevy Kev was saying, because Kevy Kev got bars. Kevy Kev is a very, very smart MFer. Shout out to him. No disrespect. He's very smart, man. He dropped some jewels, but he was talking about Riley's notes. He was talking about the prosecutor's notes and all the different crazy things in there. So you start reading through things, you start listening to some of the statements, you start, doing your own, legal searches. I get access to LexisNexis, I would always recommend any blogger get that. It's expensive, it's not cheap. Most of the great prominent attorneys have it, but it's several $100s a month. But you look into that database and there's everything in there. So yeah, so this case, man, the politics, Margot Nash wrote something, you have Kevy Kev broke it down. Absolutely. Kevy Kev is very, very intelligent. Very, very intelligent kid. Always willing to work, and a job. Need some coffee? Any coffee? So yeah, Kevy Kev's very, very intelligent guy. But yeah, so I guess when his case was going down in 1995, and just one state over in Rhode Island, the Craig Price kid. Craig Price, 15 years old, same age as Eddie O'Brien, and what a vicious homicidal maniac this kid was. And that's why you ask, is a 15-year-old kid capable of doing what happened to Janet Dolan? Absolutely. Absolutely, a 15-year-old kid could do that to Janet, without a doubt. Do I think Eddie did it to Janet? No. Seeing what Craig Price? A monster. And what I noticed is, I remember that during the parole board hearing for Eddie O'Brien, and I would pull up clips and stuff, but here's the problem, man. Technically, you're not supposed to use other people's content. So they get mad at you in a month from now, and then they start reporting you. And that's why I really don't use other people's clips. I know everyone over in the Cameron Reed side, I know they all use it, but that's now you asked earlier how to lose a channel just like this. Not that any of them bloggers listen to what I said, but say if JFK says, you know what, screw this, I'm going to report Will DeGlera for using 3 or 4 of my show segments, and I'm going to report the chat rats as well. Well, all you need is 3 copyright strikes, and your channel, it just don't shut down. It's gone. Everything you ever did on that, you can't even get it back. You cannot even get it back. Absolutely, he deserves no mercy. Do you know that this maggot tried to talk a young man to end his life? Like, that's how low this guy is. Like, he'll attack you. He'll attack you. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome, honey.
He'll attack you until you're all broken down. Oh, absolutely. I'll be accused of, what you call it, grifting and doing all this crazy stuff. But no, absolutely, all eyes on this case. No one owns any story. But yeah, they'll just attack you and attack you. 7 different ways. All eyes need to be on the unjust, wrongfully convicted people. These cases need attention. Not Turtle Boy's case. He's guilty as F. I'm not allowed to say that, I don't think, but I agree. No, Turtle Boy, and that's what I said, I would never wish jail on anybody, and it's horrible that somebody would say that. I said that, and I hope that gets corrected. But will he go to jail? Most likely, absolutely, probably without a doubt. It's going to be very hard since they already have him admitting to all the charges. He already admitted it on video. He's on video doing it. How do you get around that? But what they're going to weigh out is, was it journalism or did you cross the line? And here's the problem. In several videos, TV's on there telling people you have no right to live a free life. You just crossed the line. You know what I mean? With the whole Colin Albert thing, I think that one is going to be an impossible battle to win. You got a kid that dropped out of college. People in college will testify that he was being bullied by an online blogger. I know people over at Bridgewater. Coaches will testify. And guess what? This prosecutors, and this goes out to all you mods, pay attention. When someone asks you to be a mod, I would not be so fast to step up and willing to be a mod because listen, all Turtle Boys mods, they're getting subpoenaed. They're getting subpoenaed to go to court. And the mods are the John Does and Jane Does that they were talking about that could be his conspirators. Because they're saying that the mods conspired with Turtle Boy. So it's like, so there's a lot of things under these YouTube rules and these online rules, like real rules, not, that you have to be careful about because now you're just on there trying to be an online mod. You got nothing to do all day. Your husband's out working. You're bored. You're online. And you want to be a mod. And all of a sudden, you're getting subpoenaed to go to court. And what if you assisted in something that crosses that line? And you get charged yourself. So these are all possibilities. Because you watch, from what I understand, the mods are being subpoenaed to go to court. But Eddie was 15 years old back in 1996. I was like 20 something, man, running crazy all over the city, walking down alleys. I didn't think I'd make to the other side. Moved out to New Orleans, started getting wild out there. Doing crazy, crazy things. And I'm lucky to be alive right now. But time has a way of exposing things, exposing cracks. Witnesses change. Science evolves. Sometimes stories shift. Investigate, investigate, investigate. Sometimes people who were silent, they not silent no more. They not silent anymore. So a lot of people say, why Eddie O'Brien? Why did he wait till now for a Rule 30 change? Or to even make a Rule 30? Now, his lawyer just about beat him to prison. His lawyer went to jail as well. Took the O'Brien family for $170,000. Now, a Rule 30 motion, it isn't filed lightly. It's not a redo. It's not a game over, try again. It's an argument. It's an argument that something fundamental went extremely, extremely wrong. Something really, really went bad. I mean, Eddie's team, they're going to have to, for this to go right, they have to try to find new evidence that couldn't been found at trial, right? They have to prove that there was an ineffective assistance at counsel. They had to prove they had shitty-ass lawyers. And then I think they have to prove that there was also a constitutional violation. Or maybe it's just one out of all of them. But, these are grounds for a Rule 30 motion. A constitutional violation that undermines the fairness of his conviction. Now, here is the truth. Over the years, This O'Brien case accumulated questions like dust on a friggin' file. You know, questions about the investigation, alternate suspects, you know, questions about behavior before, during, and after a long ass trial. Was it a cat? Was it a friggin' kitten? Was it a, you know, OPP? You know, what was it? Was it a friggin' dog? Where's the dog? But some of these questions point towards people. Some have spent a long time trying to distance themselves from the case. Some have stayed very close to the case, inserting themselves into every conversation about the case. And allegedly, we're talking about Adi Ortiz. And we're talking about the boys, Janet's sons. They did everything to step away, to keep themselves out. They won't do interviews. They won't come forward. Look at the patterns. Look at the behavior. I mean, do courts pay attention when the same names keep resurfacing? You would think they would want to. But like I said, not too often. Is the Commonwealth, is the state, you know, are the feds, are they ever going to admit that they screwed up and they convicted somebody? Now there's going to be public pressure, what you have now. Let's be honest. Sometimes public pressure, it don't win legal motions, but it creates momentum, as we've seen in the Karen Reed trial. And lately, realistically, momentum is probably what this case needs. You know, a lot of YouTubers need to start doing presentations on the Eddie O'Brien case. Maybe independent investigators. You know, podcasters, you know, people are digging. Everyday people, our homes, people in the chat, our homes all day and saying, you know what, let me look into this. I wonder about this. Let me Google this. Let me get Margot Nash's book. They're refusing to let this story fade away. Some of that has been very messy. I ain't gonna lie. Some of it has been pretty sharp. But all of it has been keeping this case alive. You know, right when the O'Briens probably thought they had no hope. Will any of this translate into some big admission in court? Because the Rule 30 ain't about vibes. You can't go in there with some vibes. Maybe, what if? You know, it's not about none of that. Give me a minute, y'all. Be right back.
You know the story. It's heavy in the air. When a father turns to shadows, how could you even dare? Yo, Will Henry, you a sucker. Let's break it down. Claim you a man, but where's your crown? Put your hands up, kid. You taught him how to fight, but you ain't fighting right, man. This ain't no light. You grab your son, run off like a thief in the night. Where's the love? This ain't how you raise a child, right? Kicking your son out like he's just a game piece. How you claim to be a dad, forgetting his release. Will Henry, you a sucker. Can't you see the glare? Claiming blackmailing the myth. You think no one cares? Special needs child, you're running from the truth. But every word you spit just reveals your own you. Admitting the violence, it's hard for me to trust. Fighting your kid, nah, that's just unjust. 6'2", but he's still your son at the core. Raising fists over lessons, that ain't what you're for. Talk
talk about forgiveness, but you let ego reign. Dragging things out like a puppet on a chain. You think you're tough, man, but underneath is weak. Claiming power with fists when it should be love you seek. Allegations swirling, made public and raw. Yet you try to justify and glaze over the flaw. Just look in the mirror, see the man you become. A name in the charts, but what's under that drum? Will Henry, you a sucker, got all eyes on you. Blackmail and violence, is that the best you can do? Special needs child, you claim it's all fine, but the truth in the lineup is living in every line. Will Henry, you a sucker, got all eyes on you. Blackmail and violence, is that the best you can do? Special needs child, you claim it's all fine, but the truth in the lineup is living in every line. Look, I'm not built to watch a man tear down his own. You need to change direction before the seed you sown. A name ain't a warrior. It's the truth that empowers. So rise up, Will, and stop hiding in the towers.
Alrighty, we back, man. We talking about Eddie O'Brien, Rule 30 motion. You know, just saw a comment from Angel Slayer. She says she and her friends have been gathering information on Will Henry and others for months, going behind their paywalls. Everything is documented. Well, there you go. What are they gonna bring into court? Who's suing? You know, a lot of questions there, you know. What are they planning on getting out of it? Is it suing for money? I don't know if he has any money. You know, but yeah, I'm interested in taking a look at that, seeing what they have going on. You know, we're gonna have to check out that particular law firm, see what what's their name? You said Angel Slayer. Okay. Clip that. We'll have to make a note. But does Eddie even have a real chance? Angel Slayer said that Will better be ready. They're saying it's criminal? A criminal charge. Oh, I thought civilly, because I was like, what did he do to break the law? But yeah, that's very interesting. You know, I wonder if anybody found the girl from the Omni Hotel, you know, that situation over there. You know, Will said he didn't even remember writing what we talked about the other day about what happened at the Omni. He said till he looked in, he sobered up and he looked in Turtle's chat and he was like, oh my God. You know, I watched a little part of that earlier. But I don't want to get sidetracked. Back to, does Eddie have a real chance? Looks like Willie jumped out the jelly into a jam. God damn.
Bacon jam.
You know, a lot of people want to know. See, the part that people are arguing online. Here's the part that actually matters. Is there a chance? Is there a chance for Eddie O'Brien? I mean, my expert opinion with all my law knowledge, which I don't have a law degree, I just play one when I'm being sued. I think he does. I think he does have a chance. A Rule 30 motion is winnable if the evidence is strong enough. If the evidence is strong enough, there could be a chance that it is a winnable motion. But the problem is, the courts, the judges, they ain't always willing to say, yeah, right, you know, it's winnable. You know, because they don't want to let people out. They don't want to admit that they made a damn mistake. But a Rule 30 motion is absolutely winnable under what I said earlier, ineffective counsel, different evidence, different suspects, so. But the bar is high, right? The burden's going to be on Eddie O'Brien's team. The Commonwealth is going to fight it. They're not going to want to. The Commonwealth, no way, is going to want to say, like, oh, yeah, we screwed up, and the courts. You got to think a man was in prison for 30 years. The courts are going to be so cautious about reopening old cases. They don't like to do it. They don't like to do it. Even when they know there's an innocent man in prison, they don't care. I mean, cases have been overturned after 20, 30, 40 years. The Warwick cop had his case overturned after, 2 decades. Massachusetts, I think I read some case law that they vacated convictions when you got new DNA comes up, new witnesses, new revelations, things that proved the original verdict couldn't stand. So, can it happen? What does Eddie's law team, legal team, what do they have? Do they have credible new evidence? Do they have proof of an investigative failure? That's where I think they're going to want to go. That's where my investigative mind would go. Do they have maybe testimony that changes the timeline? Something that might change the narrative? Then yes, Eddie O'Brien could finally get the hearing he's been waiting for. Will he get it? I don't know. We'll have to wait to see what comes next. I mean, I'm jumping the gun. The Rule 30 motion, I don't even think is in there yet. But it don't guarantee Eddie's freedom. It only guarantees him a fighting chance. It guarantees him a fight in the courtroom. It guarantees him a fight over facts, not rumors. Can't go into the courtroom with rumors. A fight over what really happened 30 years ago. And for the first time in a long time, a fight that maybe, it just might actually happen. So it feels like a fight that might actually even happen. So 30 years is a long time to wait for Eddie to speak. A long time that people are waiting for clarity. But is it going to give clarity? A long time for justice for the O'Brien family? But the door isn't closed yet, not anymore. We'll see what happens with the Commonwealth, Eddie O'Brien. We just got to wait for that Rule 30 motion, to be filed. And, we really don't know more about that. Maybe we could do a deep dive episode, how Rule 30 motions are filed, how different types of motions I filed. I'll show you a couple that I have done. Application to proceed in form of paupers. Now, you representing yourself. This is any state you can do this. You could basically put let me make sure you got a screen here. Oh nope. All right. There we go. Give you the full screen. This is basically, this is basically saying that you are indigent. You really don't have no money and you want permission to proceed. But when you're being sued, whoever's suing you, they're responsible for the cost. But you want to have this just in case. Let's see, another motion. Motion to dismiss Rule 30. I'm saying, even accepting all well pleaded allegations, I'm saying they are not true. The complaint fails to plead facts. You don't have no actual damages. Stuff like that. So these are just different motions. And you always gotta put a declaration. You want to let them know you're going pro se. I'm going pro se due to financial hardship and insufficient time to retain counsel. But you let them know, but you will, you reserve the right to bring counsel in at a later time. But we could do a deep dive how motions are done, what you have to do. You have to put the case number here, make sure everything's signed, dated. The courts are very, very petty with stuff like that. You always want to have a checklist also, what you need to do when you go to file these motions. We can all learn together. I guess Will Henry is upset, it seems. Sounds like he's going to get served papers with regards to his comments about Karen and Jimmy, saying Will needs to make bail. Sounds like maybe there is a warrant for Will's arrest. Will was so angry on his last live stream, it was scary to watch. Well, Willie's gonna see if his good friend Turtle Boy stands up for him or leaves his ass swinging in the wind. I bet Willie better get used to swinging alone. He was mad. Turtle Boy's gonna drop Will like a hot potato. Scary mad when he talked about the Omni Hotel. Oh, I bet. Because I got emails that people actually went to the Omni Hotel, and if I'm not mistaken, let me see. There was something about the Omni. Oh, here it is. Omni. It says back in 2025, allegedly, Terence Crosby, a firefighter from Ireland, was found guilty for the similar charge that Will Henry. Omni Parker. Inbox. Back in 2025, Terence Crosby, a firefighter from Ireland, was found guilty. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But yeah, I seen that in my email as well. Looks like Will Henry jumped out the jelly into a jam. Well, yeah, that's about all on the Rule 30 situation. regarding to the James Jackson and the lie and the live stream. Maybe I'll save that one for tomorrow. I don't want to mix it with this, but I told him, look, just give me an apology, man. Because during his, he made a claim, an intentional one, that the host of this was behind several fake accounts. He said I was pretending to be him. I was pretending to be JFK. That I was behind several fake accounts. He said it with confidence, with certain, and he said it with no damn evidence. And then, and now people that know me, they know I don't play those games. I don't hide behind burner accounts, never have. I don't impersonate people. I stand in my name every single time. Every time. So when that lie hit the airways, yeah, I was furious. I was mad because that wasn't a mistake. That was a choice that James Jackson decided to make. And so here's where it got real. I didn't yell, I didn't threaten, no counter narrative. I said, I'll tell you what. I did what grown adults do when someone makes a claim. I asked for proof. Where's the receipts? And I said, I'll tell you what, James Jackson. Not only did I ask for proof, I'll put $1,000 on the table. I'll put $1,000. Show the receipts, drop the evidence, back up your words, or put on your live stream and say you're sorry. Apologize. And I think what right is right. Because, really, right? When you lie publicly, the lie has to match the volume of the lie. Because this stuff is all about accountability. You're bringing the people information, stuff they want to believe what you're saying. If you slander someone on live stream, the correction needs to happen on a live stream, not in a quiet tweet, not in a side comment, not in a DM. Accountability isn't about ego, it's about repairing the harm when the harm was done, not waiting, respectfully. Respect to everything them guys do, and then to go clear, JFK did the same thing to me about saying that I wish Turtle Boy in jail, that I said I want Turtle Boy to go to jail. So you lie on me on a live stream. What? I'm not supposed to be upset, but whatever. Salute to them guys. Salute to you. Thank you, everybody. Check out the Rule 30. Challenge me. There we go. These guys challenge me. Challenge me on what I said about the Rule 30. Please do so. I would love if an attorney challenged me. Just to test me, just to see where I'm at with it. And ladies, look out for this guy at the local AA meeting. He's been known to frequent some AA meetings, trying to get a new catch, so don't fall for it. Beware of the trap. Good luck, Eddie O'Brien. This is a very young picture of Eddie. But good luck to Eddie. Looks like he's in a big dome. Good for him. Stay away from these people right here. We'll mention more than once. Will Henry is just a POS. Timestamp 47 minutes into Will's live stream where Will loses his shit. Will mention more than once on his live stream that he's really angry with women's rights now. So maybe the victim came forward. Will is a violent guy, so the grape may have been especially violent. Is this his regular stream? Because he'll never get a dime from me. It's Will's latest petty stream. Horrible, horrible guy, man. And I don't understand how people are even willing. How do you give a guy like that? How do you donate people like that money? And I said a couple of days ago, how does a female support people? Absolutely. I can lose my lunch looking at those freaks of the week. How do people support somebody like Will Henry, like TB, all these abuses that mentally abuse, females. They abuse children. I don't understand how anybody can support somebody like that. And I don't even ask for donations. You know what I mean? And people just give them money. I'm like, it's crazy. How about all like I was raised by a single mom, man, and I could remember the struggles that my mom had. Like it's tough enough, raising kids with two parents in the home. That's what I say. Shout out, appreciate that. Will's ex-wife claims he raped her. Supposedly, the police report said it was really violent. What he did to his ex, he broke a dog's leg during the attack.
Oh
The
my God.
dog,
Where is this at? I wanna
the
look this up.
dog. Oh my goodness, what a horrible human.
Where is this at? This is Will Henry. Yeah.
What a horrible person. Horrible, horrible people. Horrible. And these are the people we have to expose. These are people you got to get the hell out of here. Creating a cult following. People love this man. They love him. Justice for Clubber. Oh, I thought he recently hurt his dog. I was like, really? What a guy he is, man, in his little rented 2-room house he has out there in Tennessee. Life's good. Why would anybody want to leave America? I see all these people saying, I'm out of here, I'm leaving America. Why? Where you going? What's so bad? What is so bad about America? When you got a guy like Will Henry that can sit home on YouTube, and I gotta fight to get 1,000 subscribers to make 15 cents.
Right?
I'm like, my God, YouTube, you're killing me. I said, can I get some credit? I already has 7,000. He's like, go to jail, go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Start over. It's like, oh man. Or you're playing sorry and you lose all your pieces. We were playing with our daughter once, about a month ago, and all of a sudden she said, all right, I'm done. Took all the pieces and went home. But Jill talks about the police report in the comments section. There used to be an old country singer named Ernie Ford. Now have a full name, Tennessee Willie Henry. The glare is disgusting, and the mods for Dad Challenge Podcast YouTube read the comments by Jill. There used to be an old country singer named Tennessee Ernie Ford. Now we have a fool named Tennessee Willie Henry. Well, maybe we can actually work on getting this guy up out of here. But, I mean, it ain't, you know what? It is our job. I don't want to hear that. It ain't our job to get people up out of here. I think it is, man. You
Gotta
know,
protect women.
it is our job to protect females, protect kids, protect the innocent. You know what I mean? Protect society in general, man, from looking at people like this. You know, this is why they had the Lad Center. And if you don't know what the Lad Center is, you should look that up. There's a psych joint they had. They actually said it was haunted. They knocked it all down. But they would send anyone there back in the day that was considered like a moron, an imbecile. That's where that saying comes from. Are you a moron, an imbecile, or something else? And they would send you there. Or if you was a promiscuous woman, they would lock you up, take you off the street, send you to the Lad Center out in Exeter, and you get sterilized, all kind of crazy shit, man. Some crazy shit went on at the Lad Center. And Will Henry would definitely be a patient with Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd be really like, he would definitely like to examine Will Henry. Will Henry, meet Dr. Ladd. A serial rapist. Unbelievable. Will getting himself up out of here. Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. But yo, I work night, so I got a long day. I had to take the cat today to the vet, and then when I'm at the vet, they tell me that, oh, you gotta sign this paper in case your cat don't wake up. I'm like, huh? I said, then I won't be able to go home. My daughter would kill me, but cat made out okay, got the cat home, so everything worked out good. Had to go to court, file the papers for the court paperwork, got all that done. So I got to rest before I go to work, but always hope your cat is okay. Yes, he's a little sore, right? He's around here somewhere, a little sore.
He's sore. He just
But
got done
he'll
eating.
be all right. Willie got himself up out of here, just like TB. No one's putting him in jail. He's putting himself in jail. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the jail's filled with people like this. They don't even rehabilitate them. They just a holding pattern for a couple years. Maybe we gotta bring back like electric shock. Mr. Dennis Sweeney, how are you, man? Appreciate everything you do. Maybe we gotta bring back like some kind of, for people like this to really be friggin' examined. But let me know what you think about the Rule 30 motion. If you haven't looked into the Eddie O'Brien case, man, this poor kid was 15 years old when the Commonwealth railroaded him. Yes, they were doing this in 96 too. And I think because all the excitement of the Cameron retrial, and now Eddie O'Brien, maybe he'll get his fair shot, but I think he's deserved a fair shot. He didn't get a fair shot. There may be a 15-year-old boy that's been in prison for 30 years because he did not get his fair shot. Give this man his fair shot, and I appreciate all y'all 100%. Thank you.
You know the story. It's heavy in the air. When a father turns to shadows, how could you even dare? Yo, Will Henry, you a sucker. Let's break it down. Claim you a man, but where's your crown? Put your hands up, kid. You taught him how to fight, but you ain't fighting right, man. This ain't no light. You grab your son, run off like a thief in the night. Where's the love? This ain't how you raise a child, right? Kicking your son out like he's just a game piece. How you claim to be a dad, forgetting his release. Will Henry, you a sucker. Can't you see the glare? Claiming blackmailing the myth. You think no one cares? Special needs child, you're running from the truth. But every word you spit just reveals your own you. Admitting the violence, it's hard for me to trust. Fighting your kid, nah, that's just unjust. 6'2", but he's still your son at the core. Raising fists over lessons, that ain't what you're for. Talk about forgiveness, but you let ego reign. Dragging things out like a puppet on a chain. You think you're tough, man, but underneath is weak. Claiming power with fists when it should be love you seek. Allegations swirling, made public and raw. Yet you try to justify and glaze over the flaw. Just look in the mirror, see the man you become. A name in the charts, but what's under that drum? Will Henry, you a sucker, got all eyes on you. Blackmail and violence, is that the best you can do? Special needs child, you claim it's all fine, but the truth's in the lineup, is living in every line. Will Henry, you a sucker, got all eyes on you. Blackmail and violence, is that the best you can do? Special needs child, you claim it's all fine, but the truth's in the lineup, is living in every line. Look, I'm not built to watch a man tear down his own. You need to change direction before the seed you sown. A name ain't a warrior. It's the truth that empowers. So rise up, Will, and stop hiding in the towers. Yeah. You know the story. It's heavy in the air. Yeah. It's the truth we unfolding. Join the fight, bring the mic, about to set it off. Night's calling. Yo, it's Operation Absolute Resolve. This ain't just a name, targets like Madura's palace. We ain't playing games, cartel de los Soleils. Moving weight like it's that throne, funneling that white gold. Poison spreading on the phone, 200 guards posted up. Shoot to kill on sight, panic rooms. Heavy metal, Russian missiles in the night. Motion sensor drones fly, watching every single breath. But them night stalkers low and fast, bringing all that stealth to death. Rolling deep, choppers fly, see the shadows in the sky. Operation Absolute, we ain't just saying bye. Neutralize the threats, crush the warlords in that realm. Madura fortified, but we ready at the helm. It's the Black Hawks, twin engine beast terrain following fast. Infrared cuts the darkness, suppressing heat to outlast. Chinooks bring the troops, heavy lift, armor wrap tight. Drop them in, we green light, got the code ready for the fight. Wagner contractors taking dollars, thinking they supreme, but we breaking dreams, throwing shadows on the scene. Watch the palace shudder, those fort walls can't protect. When the night stalkers glide, they only know respect. Operation Absolute, all part of this game. In the dark we shine bright, never falling to shame. Madura on the run, Brooklyn's where he gon' meet. With the hunters in the night while they dragging on defeat. At Operation Absolute, at Operation Absolute, at Operation Absolute. Operation Absolute, all part of this game. In the dark we shine bright, never falling to shame. My doodle on the run, Brooklyn's where he gon' meet. With the hunters in the night while they dragging on defeat. Operation Absolute, yeah. Countdown to the chase, street by street, corner by corner, we right on this trace. Every second brings us closer, night commanders in the air. No escape from the shadows, he won't breathe without a care. So here we stand unite against the lines, blurred in crime. This isn't just for power, this is justice serving time. Maduro, feel the pressure, every deal leads to your fall. Operation Absolute, we answer to the call. Time's up, it's clear. We play to win or fall. Maduro's on the run, and we coming for it all. Watch the city, watch back. Brooklyn lights shining bright. Operation Absolute Resolve. Reclaiming the night. Yeah. It's the truth we unfolding. Join the fight, bring the mic, about to set it off. Night's calling. Yo, it's Operation Absolute Resolve.
Eric Group, let's dive into this mess. It's elections. Just a popularity contest.
Yeah, you don't even watch the games. That's a shame, only hugging up the coaches playing their little game. Playing Karen with your kids, that's a parent in love. Running to the 80, throwing if it don't fit your narrative, bro. No more jungle fever, I ain't buying what you sell. You said you stand for stand, but can't you tell?
You all up on Washington Dunbar, making claims, begging the townies for a seat, naming your honor like you're insane. But you're just a joke, man, I'm calling it loud.
How you claim to represent when you barely survive? You working for a corporation, thinking you're all that. What worry about, can we keep it real? What's up with that? A blogger with no degree is twice the journalist you'll ever be. How many kids you exploiting just for views? We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Just for views, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yo,
We'll
next
see.
track, we'll unpack that little scheme. But first, let's focus on your aim. Get it up, it's a dream. So next time you take a shot, make sure you're on target. Cause
Turtle turn, yeah, you switch the lane. Acting real sly, man, playing dirty game. Took the laughs, now you throwing shade. Thought we were real, but your colors just fade. Legally recorded, man, what's your excuse? The double life sold out, now I got the proof. Made jokes about my life, trying to roll the dice. Living at home, yeah, I paid the price. Fought for my life, while you were couch bound. Now you take shots, man, what's that sound? Turtle turn, yeah, your back's to the wall. You sold out the wood, but man, thought you had it all. Taking shots at me, what's the deal? Keep it real, we know who you really feel. We know who you really feel. You hit me up, asked to do the Uber right. I turned it down, now you hit me on sight. Everything you got, man, it came from my fight. Now you living large, but you stole my life. Taking the steps I made like it was your own. But you forgot the battles that I've grown from. Never dissed you, kept my word tight. Now I see the fading light. Turtle turn, yeah, you're playing the fool. Got your back turned, though you're way too cool. Taking
Turtle turn, yeah, you switch the lanes.
Yeah, it's the second season, watch us reign supreme. Drake man in the pocket, living out that dream. Yeah.
Came in hot, yeah, rookie flames with the spark. Now he's got that MVP shine, lighting up the dark. 14-3, we rising like the sun. Each game a playlist, safe seas, title only just begun. Over 4,000 yards and 600 on the ground. It's the rhythm making when the Patriots around. Feeling like a legend, this ain't just a game. Drake's got the vision, watch how he's changing names. MVP like May, making plays all day. Through the highs and the lows, we still on display. 14-3, man, you gotta believe. Patriots on the rise, it's a party, let's see. Divisional round, got that charge of energy. 16-3, we taking them down, you feeling me? Even when the pass ain't lighting up the field. Made with the legs, that rush is our shield. Biggs doing work, crossing that milestone, a beast. 1,000 yards making moves, he the king of the feast.